Well, we may as well finish off Victory Warzone tonight. I was going to do it earlier, but man, we got sidetracked into that great... hey, can I get this... Can I solo, basically? Can I solo Drowning in Blood? And it turns out the answer is yes. We just had to use Vanguard Heavy to do it. But we got the badge. Where's that at? Right there, we got Sidereal Researcher. So there we go. And then we got sucked into a villain hammy raid. I don't know how that happened, but that was kind of wild. Let's make sure we got all this stuff. Do we have Arachnos Rising? Yeah, we do. Which means I no longer need this notepad. We have all the exploration badges now. I think, except for Dark Astoria? I think that's right. Or, let me be clearer. Except for the other Dark Astoria. The real Dark Astoria, not the Echo. So, congratulations to us. Hello, everybody. Oh, man. Got the Katana Zero music rocking. Yep, we are gonna just go... Where are we at? Here in Sharkhead. Let us get to where we need to be. I tell you, Envenom daggers are great, man. Click over to the team chat. Let's form a Moonfire, Summer Blockbuster. You know, I'm good, guys. There's plenty of time to do that kind of stuff. So as for a Magisterium trial, I am not good enough, like, equipped to do that just yet. Where's, Gaussian? There we go. So yeah, we'll do Gaussian's arc and Dark Watcher's arc. And Dark Watcher is a hoot, man. I love his arc. Gaussian a little less so. There's no with you around, I think we might just have a chance. The mission I have is dangerous, but unlike some cloak and dagger types, I actually like when people I work with know what's going on. Deniability is great, but I prefer people to be able to react or change situations. So if you're in, give the lowdown. Okay? Alright, Helm, Shield, Gauntlet. Yeah, y'all are real silly. The sword, we handle counterintelligence, special forces action, that kind of stuff. Be some ugly work, but it's necessary. What is with your, what's with this headgear? I've never figured this out. I've never figured out, like, what exactly is going on with dude's head. Like, is that, like, the chunky version, like that cyborg wrap from Empire Strikes Back? It looks kind of goofy. And in my mind, I black out, like, I blank out what Gaussian looks like. Some action's gone wrong. I suspect their sword has been compromised. I can't investigate it myself, so I need someone to do it by proxy. That would be you. And this is the incident I want you to check. One of the traditionalist negotiators is missing. One of the sword teams I suspect was in the vicinity, led by Captain Flint. Well, sure, let's go check out Captain Flinty. It's the ghost of Captain Flinty. He's coming to kill us. Let's just flog some of the stuff onto the market real quick. Make a quick buck, you know? I really don't see, like, why I would hold on to Essence of Earths, man. They're not hard to get. If you were ever doing a hammy raid and you couldn't get them, man, you just buy them off the market for cheap. And if that's not good enough, people can just go to Peregrine Island and kill hammy monsters to get them. You know, it's not an insurmountable situation. But the odds of needing more than 2 or 3 of those for a given hammy raid are pretty low these days. We've gotten hammy raids down to, like, an easy science. And you know, bless the people that are real good at that stuff. Because they make life so much better for the rest of us. I mean, we just did a villain hammy raid, right? And we got like 80 reward merits for that. Like, what do we have? We got 440 reward merits. I could go buy more anniversary badges with this money. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Alright, let's find the ghost of Captain Flinty. Hey, Shamulium, bless, you say, blessed are the tacticians, for they help us get our act together, yeah? Let's see, there's a badge for beating up Vanguard dudes, isn't there? Is this the only arc where you fight Vanguard guys? This is definitely the arc where you need Nectinivo's Cursebreaker, man. These sorcerers be hitting you with that stuff, and it is not fun. Hey, Ryu Long. You know, every time you do that emote, like, I just think you're dabbing. You know, as Heath Ledger's Joker said, do a little dabarchy. He never said that, but he should have. He should have said that. Oh, Vanguard shows up as enemies in one of the Incarnate things, don't they? Oh, we totally got Nectinivo Cursebreakered. Right there. Can I mention someone else earlier? Yeah, I mean, I gotta do this on, like, my character I actually do badge stuff on. We gotta lead you out? No problem. We should have, like, 10 Vanguard kills. I don't know where in the badge list this thing is. Oh, lame. And good. Here we go. Vanguard, so it's right under Zookeeper on my list. Okay. So we got 14. Now 15. I don't know that I want to fight like large groups of Vanguard though. Like that just sounds not fun to me. Curse of Weariness is totally a broken power, man. It's like worse than fighting sappers. Even with Nectinivo's Cursebreaker, like I could pop that wherever it is here. There it is. I could pop that, but like, that's a lot of Vanguard merits. Mega Mart, genetically altered superfood, super prices, mega service. Dude, this is like right out of Cyberpunk right there. Salty's been on Earth for a while. We told him that his kidnappers were really Nemesis infiltrated automatons, and he bought it without reservation. In case you get used to anything, but you and I know these are real people, soldiers of the Vanguard, who've gone renegade. Taking orders to illegally murder people with an eye towards destabilizing the peace with traditionalists. This isn't just Flint and a rogue squad, this is a conspiracy. Working with the data you've collected, and testimony of the traitors you brought in, we found the location of a rally point for the renegades. Go in and knock their skulls together. Got it. Hey, XLG. You know what? I got a level thingy on my side, so let's just do it. Let's make the teams big. Let's get lots of spawns out here. Let's see if we can't work on this badge or Rooney. Let's see. There's at least one mission where you fight some Vanguard dudes in Mr. G's the Primal Earth Mr. G arc, not his Praetorian arc. And where else? I don't know anywhere else that you fight him off the top of my head. What's shaking, XLG? Nothing good has happened here in a long time. Ain't that the truth? Ah, it's Seifu Tendochi, or Tendaji, whatever his name is. Oh, hi guys. Hello. Is it really late night? Well, I guess you're in Eastern, right? So I guess it is kind of late for you. It's not that bad for me here. Oh, my earlier stream was just a chaotic mess, dude. That was a hoot. Oh, let's wrap this up by going through and doing this little tour of the zone, and then all of a sudden, oh, and by the way, Hammy raids. Well, we'll play through and see what we find. Were you long? Hello, Cosmic Fire 90, although I should probably let you all have a second or two to catch up before I really get into the greetings. This dude is gonna get himself killed. Frickin' longbow ballistas can't be trusted. Okay, there we go. Alright, y'all are saying hi and stuff. Yeah, thank you for the raid. I see Wu Tink, whose name I recognize. I also recognize you, Cosmic Fire 90. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you are having a great Mother's Day or a great Sunday, however you view this day of your life. There are many ways to view today. And whichever you like is up to you. I appreciate the raid. I was just going to go through Dude's Gaussian's arc here, but then I was like, we could work on a badge. So now we've turned this into a I Farm Vanguard mission. Always a good time. They are one of the nastier enemy groups in the whole game. Wu Tingu can, in fact, be for the children. Think that follow Invigilium. Vigilium? I didn't quite catch the spelling of that when it popped up. Although you're saying hello in my chat now, so. So hopefully you have to go make Wu Tingu. You know, you could just go make it and sit on the name forever. And keep anybody else from getting it. Great son, my husband, my child. Well, you know, I don't know what you guys are into, so I'm not going to judge. You know, some people are down with that kind of thing, you know. Your healer was Wu-Tang. There you go. There you go, Wu-Tink. As long as it's for the children. Oh God, look. Look, the internet has taught me things I wish I could forget, alright? Like, I kind of wish I could forget some of the cursed knowledge that I have, but I can't, because it's cursed. It's stuck in my head forever, and now I'm sharing it with the rest of you. Just be glad I don't share the knowledge that's truly cursed. Like mathematics, set theory stuff. Because then you would go insane. Like Lovecraft was right about cosmic horror. He was just wrong about the origin of it. Like, I don't think people really have a problem understanding incomprehensible entities. Like, that'll make them go crazy. They're just like, that thing's weird, and they won't think harder about it. When you start, like, looking at, like, the origin of mathematics, how set theory works, you get to fundamental questions of, you know, what is truth? How do you choose which are the correct axioms and stuff? Like, that's where you start to go crazy. Georg Cantor was in and out of loony bins. I'm sorry, asylums. I shouldn't be an asshole. Guy's been dead for 100 years. Hi, Taxi. Like that's the kind of stuff that really makes you go crazy. Lovecraft was an amateur. Well, it's like an important question, right? Like, how do you define numbers? Like, to start with, right? Like, how do you define things? Like, if I have a universe that consists of like 4 objects, right? I have like a shape that we would recognize in our universe as a square, have a circle, have a triangle, and have a squiggle. How do we define these objects and their relations to each other? You know, ultimately, you have to say, all right, I can define one object in terms of another. So to say, like, you define the square as it's not round, like the circle, okay? Then you go from, like, the circle to the triangle. You say, hey, the circle is this thing that is not the triangle. And then the triangle is not the squiggle, obviously. But then what is the squiggle? Well, the squiggle is not the square, but then you just define all the objects as essentially the same thing. There's nothing there that establishes the source of truth. So at the end, you have to make a decision. You have to create an axiom that says the squiggle is this particular thing. And now you know what the squiggle is, and because you have now defined a relationship between the squiggle and the triangle, you know what the triangle is. And because you know what the triangle is, and you have a relationship to the circle, you know what the circle is. And then because you know what the circle is, you know what the square is. You now have the truth of your universe, the different objects and the way that they can interact with each other, all defined. But until you get to the point where you have to assert something is true, where you come up with the axiom of your universe, you don't know what actually is true in your universe because you don't have a rule yet. And so that gets into stuff like all the very fundamental mathematical interactions. Man, just people stabbing me. We haven't even gotten into the stuff that makes your head hurt. That's like Georg's diagonal argument and stuff like that. That's where things really start hurting. When we start talking about like different sizes of infinity. Because just because something is infinite doesn't mean it's actually infinite. It just means it's infinite. It's like regular plain old infinity. And anybody can have regular plain old infinity. But then, you know, if you want real infinities, you got to start looking at other things like the infinity of the real numbers. As opposed to like the countable infinities. Oh, goodness. Anyway, that's just my undergraduate there. That's not even grad school. Grad school was real fun because that was physics. Let us speak of how inside of the event horizon of a black hole, time becomes like space and space becomes like time. And that's why you can never escape a black hole. All your futures rotate 90 degrees to the center of the black hole. Good times. Good stuff. Dude, I expected, like, I realized I got my, like, level shift and stuff, but I expected these Vanguard to be way meaner than they actually have been. I thought I'd be sucking wind and be, like, slurping down Nectanebo's Cursebreaker. We haven't needed it. Actually, you know what would be really cool for Nectanebo's Cursebreaker? Where is it? What would be really cool is if you could pop this thing and it did more than that. Like, if this was just like you bought this and you had a power that was basically like a mega break free and just made you invulnerable to status effects for like 60 seconds or something. I am reading chat. I see Real Long said, I wish I finished grad school. I saw Shayma Langham talk about, like, stabbing me. Shame Langham, he's got me on Discord. He can poke my brain about stuff whenever. I've given the abbreviated lecture of this on stream before. It's not hard. This is one of my stock canned talks that I can whip out at any time with zero preparation. I just need a piece of paper. That's because if you go back to the way you define spaces in general relativity, when you define a space in relativity, it's defined by this thing called the Minkowski tensor. And it's a 4x4 tensor, but the only important terms really are, because everything else is zeroed, is just the diagonal. And depending on how you want to write it, you either have a minus sign in the first position, which is time, and pluses for the other diagonal, for the rest of the diagonal, or you have a plus sign on time and a diagonal on the rest. And when you go inside of a black hole, there's a term in there that's like r minus r event horizon. So you flip signs everywhere. And once you flip signs everywhere, time and space swap meaning. That's why inside of a black hole, if you look in front of yourself, you will see yourself forever falling into the black hole. And if you look over your shoulder at yourself behind yourself, you will see yourself all through the past. Because the past is now space, not time. It gets weird, okay? It gets real weird in there. The less you think about it and the less you worry about this kind of stuff in polite company, probably the better off you'll be. From what you found, the situation with the Renegades is worse than I suspected, and now Longbow has a stake in it. Tendaji is a good guy, but the murder of Mr. Wild is too much. He's going to go to W.M. Dietrich, and then there's going to be too much trouble. We have to concentrate on putting down these Renegades first, and that means stopping the assassination of Lady Grey. Or does it? I've got an idea. The Renegades are gathering a large number of their forces for an assassination attempt on Lady Grey. I've talked to her, and she's going to walk right into the trap. Only now the trap is for them, not her. We're going to be there as her backup. You and any allies you want to bring. We're going to break this conspiracy and put an end to it. Yeah! You blame the culture shock because you weren't stateside for it? Oh, for grad school. Got it. Well, spaghettification depends on what kind of black hole you're talking about here, XLG, because if it's a smaller one, you're likely to get spaghettified before you cross the event horizon, but if it's a larger one, you probably won't get spaghettified till you're inside of it. That's also a really silly term. You're just being stretched and squished by tidal forces. Which reminds me, I just saw an article the other day on the archive about they observed a tidally induced supernova. I got one of those in my thesis, like the burn curve for it. Kind of cool. Alright, eliminate assassin squads. We got this. Because a tidally induced supernova is exactly that kind of event. A star gets too close to a black hole, and the black hole stretches the star in one set of directions and squishes the star in another one. And so the stretching and squishing. Actually, squetching is a great term for simultaneous stretching and squishing, isn't it? Yeah, the squetching blows the star up. It squishes the stellar core and makes it go kaboomski. Just like a Russian airplane. Not remotely, XLG. Spaghettification is all tidally induced. Every so often you get a ResearchGate ping because it's been so long since I did any of that stuff. I don't even know what ResearchGate is, but that's nice. Like I got out of grad school like 14 years ago. And I hardly keep up with any of that stuff anymore because it is so far removed from what I do now. I just see some of that stuff in the news and find it fascinating. That stupid things I worked on actually get observed, and it's like, oh, that's cool. Which is crazy, right? Because I went into the most useless field of research I could possibly find, and somehow this stuff ends up being observed. It's like, come on. How do you see that? And of course they can see it because supernovae tend to outshine the galaxy that they're actually in. So it's like, yeah, okay. Ah, that's neat. That's kind of neat. "40 citations, nice. I have no idea how many citations the like 2 articles I'm on ever hit. One thing about my research group is they were like afraid of publishing for some reason, so yeah, I don't know. I guess when you just get all your money from the Department of Energy, like, it doesn't really matter that much if you publish, because they're the ones paying for the supercomputer you're using. Although, sadly, I never got to play on the supercomputer directly. I played on the dev box a little bit. I played on a bunch of other supercomputers at the time, not the one that the group was actually using. That was my first exposure to AIX on power architecture. God, I hate me and the Portland group Fortran compiler did not get along. How are we doing on kills here? Oh, we're gonna get at this mission. Nice. Let's go ahead, set our difficulty back to not 1,000,000 dudes. Well, that's very cool. I suspect you probably have more citations than me. Well, crunch his ice, well, I think. No, spaghettification is more like you have fallen into the intergalactic mincemeat maker, and you're an apple, and now you're being turned into something that the black hole is eating. The end. Dude, like, honestly, spaghettification is probably the last thing you need to worry about when you're falling into a black hole. Like, the radiation is going to fry you, like, way before you start getting tidally ripped apart. Like, that's pretty much the only thing I give Interstellar crap for, is they go into the black hole and nobody's gotten fried by the radiation. It's like you would have died. Because it's a very large black hole, the tidal shear outside the black hole won't kill you. It may not even have very much tidal shear. 140 citations, nice. But what will kill you is all the ultraviolet radiation, even just the infrared radiation, hanging around the black hole. Like, there's an immense amount of juice there. Jeez Louise! Did they really just spawn, like, multiple ambushes in the same room? Yeah, Lady Grey's toast. Alright, let's eat some candy here. Eat your candy! Why are you not eating your candy as I'm mashing the buttons? Okay, whatever. Middle finger to Gaussian. That was stupid. Yeah, you know why the mission failed? Lady Grey ran off on her own. If she had stuck next to the tank, she'd still be alive. This is a lesson to everybody who plays City Heroes. Stay behind the tank. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, let's go Captain, yeah. Let's Captain Capture Racer. Yeah, but also that, given that they have like an AI computer helping them, like matching the rotational speed of the space station should be a pretty trivial operation for them. That's not exactly like a difficult thing. But it was nice that the physics was well represented. Oh, we're like one short? We're one short, okay. Easy peasy. Dude, I have to remember this. If I ever feel like speedrunning this arc for some reason, I have to remember I can just get Lady Grey killed. That's fantastic to know. Freaking longbow. There we go. I got the rear guard badge, which I think is a silly badge. But, like, we don't need so many badges in this game. They've gone badge crazy. But I guess if you ever need to cover your butt, this is the badge. This is definitely an anal bum cover. Oh, Seifu, buddy, you don't really want this fight, man. Is there a timer on when this goes away? Why is there not a timer on this? There should be a timer. Given that I wasn't able to actually make myself sit through The Martian, I think that should answer your question. Oh, they're still forming that Magisterium after a half hour. Maybe I should try to join this thing. Dude, this needs to just go away. How long does this last? Why can you not see how much time is left on that stupid debuff? That's the only thing that's slowed down and killing this guy, is waiting on this stupid buff to go, or debuff to go away. This is dumb. Yeah, I'm sure Captain Dietrich will see it done. I don't know, I got kind of bored at The Martian, man. Maybe I'm weird. Everybody else seems to like it. Hey, Nectadiva, or the Curse of Weariness is gone. Look at that. We can now just proceed with murdering this dude. Okay, Captain Racer's a body bag, right? There's a novel I've read a couple of times that I really like about going to Mars. It also predicts a lot of the future we're going through, which is kind of scary when I think about it. Because there's like, they have AI body doubles for actors, like all the stuff that we see today is in that dang book. I missed his text, and I guess it doesn't really matter, because he's just like, oh, blah, 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 so let's go raid the Longbow Data Center. Like, he's got a lot of words here that are just cause a little anarchy. they have information that Tadachi implied they did, it could help us confirm what we think the renegades are up to. We need all the information we can get. Alright, you got it, buddy. All we want there is data. Unfortunately, the base will be staffed. Most likely there will be some security responses each time you get some of the information, and we got to go back this way. And one of the things that book I was mentioning, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I got a copy of it around here somewhere. But one of the things in it is the future, like, megacorp that rules the world is the merged Disney Gerber. And if you look around, like, what's one of the biggest corporations in the world that's trying to redefine culture and stuff and control what people do and think and say and buy? Disney. Huh. Weird. So every day, I wake up wondering, is this the day Disney's going to buy a major food corporation? Will the prophecy be fulfilled? Will some little girl, like a 16-year-old girl, sneak onto a spaceship, and will her name be Greetings, Buffalo Brother? I don't know. Only one way to find out, and that's to keep living till it happens. Hold on, there's probably a glowy back here somewhere. If I was this map, I would have a glowy back here somewhere. Okay. Elizibar, would you have enjoyed doing classical dynamics? No. Plays an autistic coded astrophysicist. Okay. That kind of stuff is easy. Like, alright. That's just classical dynamics or celestial mechanics or whatever you want to call it. Like, that's actually really easy, man. No human being has to come up with that. A computer will do that for you. Like, that kills me. Like, no human being is going to sit down in the year 2025 at NASA and come up with, like, a change in orbital momentum that will get you like to where you want to go. A computer will do that for you. They'll tell you when you need to do it. It's a solved problem, man. Unlike most problems in physics, classical dynamics is pretty well solved. It can be a pain in the butt, but you know. What are all the terms for the internal structure of a neutron star named after kinds of pasta? Neutron stars don't have internal structure. They're essentially giant nuclei. Hold on, I'm looking this up, because except for the crust, like, the neutron star should be basically like a smooth it's not smooth nuclear material inside with very little structure. Outer crust, inner crust, outer core, inner core. Oh yeah, I guess I'm like disregarding how big the crust is on that thing. But like, for the most part, I would have just kind of thought that the nuclear matter, the kind that I think about when I think of a neutron star, is like I guess it'd be like a quark gluon plasma on the inside, where all the all the nucleons have broken down. And at the outer layer, there should be like a crust of ultra-heavy elements, like transuranic stuff, on the outside, and then in the middle you got like weird pudding. See what it says on the wiki here. Okay, there's a picture. Ah! Oh my gosh! Okay, I didn't really study neutron stars too much, man. The little bit of neutron star I got was actually in my nuclear physics class, not any of my astrophysics stuff. My research was mostly looking at like the proto-neutron star, like how that forms before the neutron star arrives. Let's see, the expected hierarchy of phases of nuclear matter in the inner crust has been characterized as nuclear pasta. Oh, okay. Alright, I don't know why they call it nuclear pasta, but I guess that's what they call it. That's kind of fun. Maybe it's why George. No, I think you were right. It's just something that's on the edge of my knowledge, because it wasn't something I did directly. This is bad. If Longbow is right, and I think they are, the Renegades are about to cause a catastrophe. If they manage to use the device to build and destroy the interdimensional corridor between our world and your homeworld, it won't set the thing off. It will open them up to everything. It could change the laws of physics, free the Rularoo, or worse. Rularoo! We've been tracking the movements of a large group of Renegades, but didn't know their objectives. However, the information you found has made their aims abundantly clear. I believe this group's armed with a portal destroyer, and they're going to try and use it in a last-ditch attempt to stop the Ricti invasion forever, which wouldn't be a bad idea, except they're trying to destroy the Ricti. Yeah, okay, well, that seems real bad. It's a crazy world, isn't it? It's Renegade's last push, so they're going to go all out. You need to capture 2 of the Renegade's top technicians, defeat their leader, and destroy the disruptor before they reach their target. Got it. Yeah, I don't think I ever heard the phrase nuclear pasta before. But neutron stars can mostly be thought of as like a giant nucleus. Because that's really how they function, like deep down inside. They got some set dressing on the outside. But at the inside, like the nucleons themselves start breaking down. And so you just end up with like some giant horrifying mess. And let's just say that I don't want to do that kind of math in the year 2025. Hey, there's General Alito. Okay, we got Alito down. I don't see the technicians or the thing we got to destroy. I don't see Captain Dietrich anywhere. Well, one thing about getting popular science descriptions of stuff is they will like harp on kind of things that don't mean a lot. Gnocchi face, spaghetti face. Yeah, see, I'd never heard of this stuff, man. I don't even know what the connotation of that stuff would mean, except the gnocchi phase is probably clumps of matter, and the spaghetti. Oh, I understand. It's how the material's been tidally stretched, isn't it? So you start out with like clumps of matter, and then spaghetti. The matter gets stretched into strings, and the strings get compressed by other tidal forces into lasagna as you go deeper or something. That seems kind of weird, but I guess I can see that. Well, in a neutron star, it goes the opposite. The deeper you're into the star you go, the smaller the nuclei are, because you can't be stable as a large nucleus at those temperatures. They immediately like fall apart. You only get the like clumps of matter, like clumps of ultra dense matter that are still made up of nucleons, like on the surface. The deeper you go into it, the less that becomes true. At least that's my understanding of neutron stars, and I admit this is not my particular field of expertise. You know what? They're still trying to form that magi after 45 minutes. I think I'm going to see if they'll let me join it. And we can see what we can do to help them out here. Yeah, of course, the bomb doesn't show on the frickin' map. Hello, Mr. Bomb? Where are you? It does not appear to be in this room, that's for sure. It'd be real weird for it to be in the front, wouldn't it? Oh, it is in the front. Look at this. You're going to save the day, Tabez. Surviving renegades are all in custody, and dimensional barriers are yada yada yada. Her trip to the hospital to call off Dietrich. Once she had proof that this was a renegade group acting on their own, she took it to Miss Liberty, who's backed off on calling for us to be disbanded. WD may not like us, but at least she... Oh! William M. Dietrich! WMD. I never got that in her name before. I never noticed that. Ah! That's a hoot. Alright, let's grab Dark Watcher as a contact. And they're probably forming their raid in Oro, I guess. So I guess we'll try to join this thing. We'll craft up some stuff and get in on it.